Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at the HGUC Dijeh, and I've got to say, I really like how this kit came together. This is a very solid, very nice HG kit, especially if you're a fan of the Dijeh. And even if you're not, like me, I really am not really super big fan of the Dijeh in terms of its design generally, but I really like this kit quite a lot. And also, in case you guys don't follow me on different social media sources, I snapped this kit up live on Twitch, so you can always check the link to my Twitch channel down below. That video is still on there for the time being. Later on, I'll pull that off and put it up on YouTube, just for the sake of keeping that for you guys to watch if you're interested in watching the live build of that. But it's cool if you're interested in seeing like my live reactions to certain things of how the kit came together live as I was actually putting it together. So check that out if you're interested. That's on my Twitch page, and I'll be doing more of that in the future. I'll let you guys know more about that later on, but for now, let's just focus on the Dijeh, because this kit is awesome. Like I said, it comes with some awesome accessories. Basically everything you would expect from a Dijeh, so nothing really too surprising. Kind of would have been nice if it would have come with a mega launcher, but that's a story for later on in the video. Let's just jump right into it, and as always, just gotta say a huge thank you to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review, guys. Do check the link to their site down below as well. Use that coupon code there and save 10%, and just generally say thanks to them for being such a big support to me and my channel here. So first off, for the accessories, let's just talk about this sticker sheet here. Now, the first thing is you got the little pink circles there for the mono eye, this little red triangle here which goes over here on the shoulder. I mean, it's basically nothing. Got these little yellow guys which go over here on this side on the shield. Again, just kind of a little simple color app there. And then you got the green little sticker there which goes on the camera on the beam rifle. Now, as you can see here, I also just cut out my own little bit of sticker here, as there was a lot of leftover green space there left to the side. And I cut my own sticker for this camera here on the front of the head. They don't give you a sticker for that, but you can very easily just do like I did and cut that out by yourself. You could also use that green space to cut out little stickers here for the Gundam eyes. Now this kit actually has two different options for the eye. It's going to be kind of hard to see because it's so small in there, but you can see this one here has a little piece in there for the eyes that just has the mono eye kind of bit there on the front. Then you also have this piece. This has the same mono eye molded and foil sticker there for the mono eye there in pink on the front, but as you can see on the side, it also has these kind of Gundam style eyes there on there as well. So if you wanted to cut out a little bit of green sticker for those as well, you could do that. It's such a really tiny bit though, just dropping, if you wanted to paint that, drop a little bit of white paint in there first and then a little bit of green on top of that just so it's really bright, or whatever color you want, of course, and paint that. So that's a really cool, just tiny little option part that they didn't really have to give, and I'm holding upside down, but there you go. As for the hands, we've just got these open hands, which I've got there on the kit at the moment. Then for the right hand, we have a trigger finger hand, and for the left hand, we have an open hand or a rifle support hand. So this kind of stock hands there, nothing really too crazy. We have the beam naginata, which is very nice. It has nice beam effect parts for that. You can, of course, remove those and plug this onto his back skirt, onto this part here. Pop that on there, easy enough. And then you've got the same weapons that are used by the HGUC Revive Hyakushiki. So you have its beam rifle with the little camera sticker there on the front, and the clay bazooka. The clay bazooka handle can move up and down, so you can collapse that if you want for storing this. The rifle itself, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be able to be stored anywhere on the kit, but the clay bazooka you can store in a couple different places. It can just be stored here on the backpack. You just slide that little part into there, like that. There we go, if I can get a proper grip on that. So there you go. So if you have the HGUC Hyakushiki and you want to have two bazookas with this kit, you can put the bazooka from that kit over here onto the other side and have double bazookas on his back. But we do also have this part. This little connection part will allow you to plug the bazooka here onto his shoulder. So you pop that on there like so, and then slide the bazooka onto there like that. And it doesn't feel like a super strong connection, but it's on there anyway, and it's a kind of cool thing to be able to have the bazooka there stored on the side of his arm. Now, before I mentioned about the Mega Cannon, now in different versions of the Dijeh, most notably, I think it's the Gundam Fixed Figuration Katoki Signature Kit figure anyway, it has the Mega Launcher used by the Zeta Gundam that can attach onto the side of its arm there. So I'm not sure if you can use this connection piece with that, with the Revive Zeta kit that does come with that Mega Launcher. I don't have that kit anymore, unfortunately, to be able to try it. But if any of you guys know if that works, then let me know. Otherwise, I think it really wouldn't be too hard to modify, to scratch build some sort of connection piece to be able to connect that Mega Launcher here onto the side of the Dijeh's shoulder. But in the meantime, let's just get on and talk about the articulation. So one thing I was worried about with this kit is the use of the soft rubber parts here on the back of the head and on the back of the legs. Now I said soft rubber I don't like because it's not easy to paint, but on the plus side, the mold lines on these soft rubber parts are almost invisible, which is great. A lot of times the mold lines on them will be horrible and you can't sand them at all, so they're just like impossible to deal with. In this case though, they're really not too bad, so if you especially just wanted to not worry about painting them at all, then these are actually not bad. And this is one of the few cases too where I actually think that they are kind of necessary to be rubber, because for the articulation, having these in soft rubber does make it so that they don't hinder the articulation at all, which is great. So you can turn the head all the way to the side to there before it's going to start to be pulling on those parts, which is good because you really aren't going to want to turn the head much any more than that, as you can see, before they're going to pop out anyway. But where the head is lacking is upward and downward movement. It doesn't really have a whole lot of up and down movement here in the head except for that, which you see there, which is not a lot. As you can see on top of the antenna here, there's a safety nub there. You can remove that if you want. Be careful because there's 3 gates on this antenna, so just be careful when you're cutting that from the runner. It could be very easily broken, I think. I was just trying to be really delicate when cutting mine out. But I will say too, the construction of the head, the way that the pieces go together to form the head, I think is really nice as well. So that comes together looking pretty good. Let's get on and talk about the shoulders. The shoulder armor, the shoulder joint works very similar like the HGUC Ifrit Schneid if you built that. So it kind of like pulls out a little bit this section and then you can swing that forward back to there, but it's mostly for going forward. But just the way that the joint slides out from the torso like that is really cool for an HG kit. Otherwise, this bit on the shoulder will move up by itself like that, and then you can move this up. Ultimately, being able to bring the shoulder up to about there before it's going to start to get a little bit weird. I think you could probably maybe get it up a little bit farther, but you'll be able to get the arm up pretty much as far as you'd want, which is good. And then the arm works normally here with a rotation there at the top. A joint there, double joint in the elbow, giving you a nice full bend, and then the ball joint is just, wrist is on a ball joint. There you go, I'm talking all backwards. Nice that they use this part here on the front with no seam line there. We do, however, have a seam line on the back of the arm. So on the back of the forearm, you got a little seam line there you'll have to take care of. Over here on the other side, this is a little bit different. The shield part is kind of interesting. The part here on the top is on a ball joint, so that moves by itself. And the part here on the side is on a separate ball joint, so that will also move by itself, as you can see, and also pop off. But you can, I'll take this opportunity to show you guys the nice mechanical detail on the underside of that. So that's pretty nice. For an HG kit, they could have just left that pretty plain, but the fact that that's nice and fully detailed does make that a pretty nice looking part. Now as for the stomach section, it really doesn't have a whole lot in terms of stomach crunch forward and back, side to side, but what I thought was really interesting is that this red part is actually connected onto a ball joint. So when you turn the kit side to side here in the waist, you can see that part will also kind of move side to side to kind of however it needs to fit in there. So that is a pretty interesting feature of this kit that when I was building that, I was quite surprised by that. Back here at the backpack, each of these sections here on the side will move up and down. Those are just on a ball joint, so you can move those around by themselves. And the wing part is on a separate ball joint, so you can move that around independently as well. You can only spread them out to about there, which is not very wide. If you want to be able to spread them a little bit farther apart, you'll have to do some modifications. But you can see this little thruster there in the center as well can also be moved up and down a little bit if you can get to it between the wings. That can be moved up and down like that. The skirt armor is another area where that was really interesting about this. The back skirt doesn't move at all, but you do have some nice detail up underneath there with the kind of Gelgug or Dom style thruster bells there, a set of 3 up underneath the back skirt. Side skirts don't really move up and down all that much. You can only get them up a little bit before they're starting to run into the stomach section. But the front skirts are where they're really interesting because it's 2 sets of front skirt armor. You have this upper bit and this lower bit, and they'll move independently of each other. So it's basically like 4 pieces of front skirt armor that are all on separate ball joints, so that the way that these move around is really cool, and just the separation of all of them makes for a pretty cool looking set of skirt armor here for this guy. Now at the hips, you can bring the legs all the way out to about there. Seems to be about their maximum width, but that's not too bad at all. Of course, you can rotate those at the top, and that is not hindered at all by the tubing at the back, so that's fine. If you manipulate that front skirting armor around a bit, you can get the leg up to about 90 degrees, which is not too bad. And then the nice double joint in the knee is going to give you a full bend here, and again, that rubber tubing part is going to be working really well. Just be careful when you're bending it back. I feel like if you're not bending it correctly, that tubing can pop out sometimes, but as long as you bend it slowly, just kind of be careful what you're doing, you won't pop out that tubing. Even if you do, you just pop it back in, it's not a big deal. This part here on the front of the leg will move up and down, but I have noticed that it does very easily pop off, so just be a little bit careful with that as well. Just pop it back on. Side to side, the ankles will move just a little bit, not too much, but that's fine, as much as you'd expect between these big bell-bottom legs. Up to the front, about to there, and then back to there. Not really a whole lot there either. And the foot is all just one piece, so there's no bend in the toe, unfortunately. It kind of would have been nice if they would have had that, but up underneath the feet, some nice detail there. And for some comparisons, here it is with the HGUC Revive Hyakushiki, just for a similar HG kit. You can see the Hyakushiki is a little bit taller, but the Dijeh has definitely got it in bulk. And bulk is the big comparison that I want to talk about in its comparison here to the RE100 version. You can see there's a lot of differences in the design and proportions between the RE version and the HG. Colors, for one, the colors are also quite different. The blue is much more green in the HGUC version, but what I really like about this HGUC version, that it really captures the bulk a lot more than the RE kit. The RE kit is obviously much more highly detailed in there, and that's nice. But in terms of the proportions, I definitely prefer the more bulky proportions of the HG here, where the one thing I didn't really care for about the RE was that it didn't feel as bulky as it really should have been, especially in the legs. And just this kit in the HG form has a nice stocky, bulky feel to it, and it looks really cool. So as you've seen, the proportions, everything looks great. The articulation, for the most part, is very good. It's a little bit limited there in the stomach section, but again, I think that's just mostly just due to the design. For the most part, the articulation is very good. The engineering there for the shoulders, especially, really cool. Again, if you've built the HGUC Ifrit, any version of that, I think it uses the same shoulder design. And something else too. I know something else recently also had the same shoulder design, but the Ifrit is the one that I'm thinking of at the moment. But all of that, plus the fact that it's just a very solid build, makes this a really fun kit to work with. Just doesn't really have a whole lot in the way of seam lines, and it poses really nicely, and you're able to do a lot of really cool poses and stuff with it. With its array of weapons, it has the rifle, the bazooka, and the beam naginata. So you have a good amount of different weapon options for this, and places where you can store the weapons on there as well is also pretty varied, so that's nice as well. So this is a very solid kit. As for any negatives of the kit, really not a whole lot. Like I said, there's a couple small little seam lines here and there, and the side skirts and the lower front skirts do have a tendency to pop off pretty easily when you're trying to move the legs around, just because they're so large and low hanging and around there, just because of the design, again, basically. But overall, I think just the pros far outweigh the cons of this kit. The cons are very easy to basically work around and still be able to do a lot of fun things with this kit. So just another negative point that we typically associate with high grade kits is just the color accuracy and like the use of stickers. And its use of stickers is also super minimal. Color accuracy is very good, I think, and just the way that the kit is engineered is just really good. The way that all the parts are all made together. The way they even have like the bit of gray up in the inside of the color, like underneath the head, and just the way the light blue parts fit into the dark blue parts for the wings and all of that. That could have easily just been stickers if this kit would have been made like 5 or 10 years ago. So the fact that everything is on there and the color separation, the color accuracy is so good on this kit, just straight out of the box, that is definitely going to be really nice when it comes to painting. Or of course, even if you don't paint. So in conclusion, this is a really solid HG. If you're a fan of the Dijeh, or even if you're not really that big of a fan of the Dijeh, you're just a fan of just kind of nice HGUC kits in general, or you're a fan of just Zeta era mobile suits in general, then definitely check it out, because it's a really, really nice kit, I gotta say. The HGUC line has been really putting out some good stuff over the past couple years, and this is definitely a good addition to that as well. So gotta say, really happy with this, and I've got some plans for it. It's not something I think I'm going to be able to get to very soon, but definitely before the end of the year. We'll probably be seeing more of this kit. Got something in mind that I want to do fun with this, but there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this, really. The weapon options and everything, and posing options are all pretty nice. This is definitely going to be something that's going to look nice posed up on your shelf. Whereas the RE kit is nice. I think that just looks good as just kind of a standing display piece. This is definitely much more better for putting up on an action base and putting in some cool poses. So that is it for the review, guys. If you do have any other further questions or comments, of course, feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. And again, thank you to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.